Hi, and welcome to the Feel Good Always podcast. I'm Becky Bradley, and this is real stories of love, connection, and remembering who we are. So, today on the podcast, I'm going to be doing a solo podcast. I'll be talking about using the present moment really as a portal into higher consciousness. So, what does that mean? It really just means being present, using what's going on right now to remember that we're always exactly where we're supposed to be. And, even when it sucks. And I know that really well. So I know that I've experienced great suffering and great joy, the full expanded levels of emotion. Everything is always changing, and really being aware of that present moment and being there. So I want to welcome anybody here that is new and that is listening. I'm glad you're here. And what we do here on this podcast, we're really moving into these higher levels of consciousness. It's happening for sure. And that is why I do this podcast. We are ascending here on earth through, spiritual awakening. And there are actions that we can take to keep ourselves calm and to move through this so that we can be peaceful in the present moment, so that we can help bring others into this, not with attachment onto what others do, but as we begin to heal ourselves, as we begin to move into these higher levels of consciousness, it ripples out to everyone. And so that's what we're doing here. And today, we're just really going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how we really are always right where we're supposed to be. It doesn't really matter what's happening. So last week, I shared on the podcast with Heather Harmon, we're always right where we're supposed to be. We kept saying this over and over. It kind of became a theme of the podcast. You'll notice that your life always has themes. And it can be on a micro level too, as much as a podcast or a conversation. We did not plan it that way. We just talked a lot about that. And then, of course, as my life is always providing me with mirrors and really an algorithm for what is happening, what I should be paying attention to. The night before we released her podcast, Heather's podcast, my daughter Maddie had a fortune cookie, and inside that fortune cookie, the fortune was the words, "We're always right where we're supposed to be." So that really was an indicator for me to share this with you, this topic about that. So the present moment, it's a portal into higher consciousness. And to be here, to move into these levels, ascending here on earth into this higher awareness, connection to everything, we have to do that in the present moment. That is the only thing that is happening. That is the only place that anything is happening, is right here, right now, in the present moment. And sometimes the present moment sucks. I understand this. And we just have to be here, bring our bodies, our bodies are already here. So bringing our minds to the present moment. And our life is not really linear. It's all happening now. So I've talked about this before. We have the past, the present, and the future. It's actually happening now. It's really a spiral of remembering. I talk about a lot on here about how this peace that I live in, this higher level of consciousness, it's coming for everyone and it's already done. And so even what I'm doing here in this moment, I am just walking towards this peace that is for everyone. So everything along this path, every detour, delay, heartbreak, it's all part of this divine curriculum of awakening. My daughter Kira, she died at 15 years old. And really, that was part of my own awakening in that present moment, that portal to awakening, to see how much more was going on here. So one of the things I had been practicing for years was not fighting the reality of my situation. And so when we stop fighting what is happening in the present moment, we begin to see that even our hardest moments are perfectly placed for our evolution. Really, there's no wrong turns. So we can appreciate those moments where it feels like just pure joy. And then we can also appreciate the moments when it doesn't. I know that it is not really easy to feel that way when you are in the moment, but we're always right where we're supposed to be. So if you take a wrong turn, it's actually not a wrong turn. You're always in place to talk to the person you're supposed to be with. Maybe you missed something you thought you were supposed to do. So even having that mantra, everything is unfolding as it should. Everything is unfolding as it should. Trust the higher plan. Your soul, your higher self, your team is helping you along the way. And when we don't resist the path, that is when we can find peace in that present moment, when we trust. So, trust is just a really huge topic that we have to come back to over and over. It's trusting our lives, trusting the present moment, trusting that we are right where we're meant to be. It really is that foundation of peace. And we can come back to it over and over and over. It's all we really have is this present moment. We come back to it with awareness and we just think about our lives. Maybe not think might not be the best word to use because we need to really just be embodied in it, so we can just look at our lives like mirrors. They really are. We have constant mirrors. Our life can show us mirrors back what we need to integrate next, over and over, until we see it all with love, until we see ourselves with love, until we see other people with love, and remembering that only love is real. Every challenge, every person that we come into that's frustrating, every emotion or physical pain, like we talked about on the last podcast, emotional, physical pain, it's all part of this algorithm guiding us to this bigger spiritual awakening, this bigger ascension, essentially, on earth. So we move into more of this feel good, always energy. And the lessons will repeat until we receive them with awareness. So if we are self-aware and we watch our lives and we see, what is it trying to show me? I can give you a simple example. It's not that I'm doing something wrong. I want to be really clear, because I used to think if I was feeling bad, I must not be doing this life thing right. And that's actually not true. We came here into these human bodies to feel, because we need to feel the full thing, from all the way from the hardest possible things to the most expansive amounts of joy, to feel it all. And so if we look to it with questioning, like, what is my life trying to show me in this moment? You can't find peace even in the harder things. And so for me, simple thing, like my back was hurting last week and now it's my knee. Out of nowhere. I didn't really do anything to my back or my knee. They're just hurting. And I very clearly understand, okay, my life is asking me to rest. Sometimes I get sick, and that is how I am being asked to rest. And sometimes it's physical pain. And so instead of getting frustrated, which, yes, I can get frustrated, but I always bring myself back and say, what is my life trying to show me? And I accept it. I come in with acceptance instead of resistance. Instead of resisting what is, I accept it and I'm curious. So when we surrender over and over and over to what actually is, we really can ascend, really moving into these higher levels of consciousness. And that is how we do it. We decide that something is not good or we don't like it. We just really need to remember that everything is happening as it should. Literally everything. Only love is real. Everything else is feedback. So if I am looking at a particular situation and I don't like it, like let's say I break a glass and water spills everywhere. For many years, I have practiced just going, okay, I'm not going to get myself all mad about this situation. I'm going to try to stay calm, pick it up. This is just what's happening now. As I have expanded into these higher levels of consciousness, I'm even more aware when something breaks or water spills, to see, what does this have to do with? Is there water coming into, I remember when I was in Hawaii recently, water spilt 3 times at the restaurant I was at. First on my table, then the waiter at the other table spilled it, and then another waiter spilled some more water. And then eventually, within 2 days, a tsunami came. Our life will literally in the physical world show us things. And so really being curious. The mind always wants to fix, it wants to plan, and it wants to control, especially when things like emotions don't feel like as good. But we have to remember that we have this higher self that is helping us, and the soul only speaks through now, because only now is happening. Bringing myself into the present moment, like I think about when my daughter Kira died, I would literally just bring myself, like feeling my feet on the ground, feeling my body on the bed as I laid there and cried. It doesn't mean that I don't feel it all. It just means that I come to the now, because the past could be too hard and the future is too much too. And we can actually make things worse for us, feelings worse, by either going back or going forward. So we just remember to come to the present moment, reminding ourselves that everything is happening as it should. And really that all the power for healing ourselves, for spiritual awakening, for transformation, all of that is in the present moment. We bring awareness to this moment. So we come here, we think to ourselves, here I am in this moment right now. It's like people will ask me, are you excited about going on a trip? Or are you excited about having a grandbaby, which I'm going to? And I always am just telling people, I'm here in this moment. And yes, I can look forward and being excited, but I really am mostly in this moment. I'm here, I'm present with the people I'm talking to, I'm present with sharing this with you. Even when it's hard, I went to bed last night, I was feeling some grief and, missing Kira in the physical sense, which is interesting because a lot of times I don't feel that separation to her. But in that moment, I was feeling that, and I just feel it. In the moment, because when I'm willing to be here in the present moment for whatever is, not attaching to how I'm going to feel this way a month from now or 2 months, just here in this moment, feeling it, letting it move through, and just knowing that as long as I stay here, I begin to open up to more, and also can show myself, my human self, that I can have peace in really every single moment. So this awareness that we can have of the moment, it is ascension. It really is moving into this higher consciousness. It transforms our pain into wisdom. It can transform a comfortable moment into wisdom, into clarity. It can transform resistance into peace. It doesn't mean that we don't feel the really hard things, that we don't go, what the heck is going on? I promise you the same thing happens to me, as one thing after another will pile up. And instead of getting really attached to what is happening in the three-dimensional world, I just say to myself, okay, what is happening here? What are the themes? What is happening? What do I need to learn here? So really coming back into this moment, nothing real exists outside of right now. When I am recording this, nothing is outside of this moment. Nothing. And when you are in a moment where things are really hard, whatever that may be, there are many forms of suffering. We all suffer in different ways. We can have pain. So, for example, grief can be painful, the pain of missing someone, or the pain of going through a relationship loss, or the pain of someone not acting how we want them to, or loving us the way that we would want them to. That is pain. But when we resist the pain, when we resist what is actually happening in the present moment, when we take that pain and we resist it, we don't allow it to happen, that's where the suffering comes in. So you have pain times resistance equals suffering. And we don't have to have the suffering. We can just allow the pain to be here, acknowledge it, and ask what it's trying to show us. Feel it. Really feel what is happening. We can feel it. And when it becomes fear, we can remind ourselves that only love is real. We can see how it feels in the body. And it's really just becoming aware of our own thinking, aware of our own, the way we feel in our bodies, and just aware that This is the body. This is the mind. This is the soul. Pain is inevitable. But suffering in what is happening, that is just resistance to the pain. So we can just say, instead of saying, why is this happening to me, or what the heck, and freaking out, we can say, what is my life showing me here? That question shifts us from fear to awareness, and it shifts us from resistance to acceptance. And this awareness, this coming back to the present moment, that is the portal to this higher consciousness. Now, I want to remind you, it's not something we're trying to figure out, okay? We have to surrender and know it's happening. We are moving into these higher levels of consciousness. We just continue to surrender. We continue to seek. And the more that we do this, the faster we evolve. But we still have to come back to the present moment and trust that it's all happening and be absolutely 100% okay and in acceptance of what's happening right now, instead of some future moment where you're peaceful and happy and everything is perfect. No, it's already happening here if we allow it. So I want to remind you, we talked about on a previous podcast, the last podcast I recorded, that the body is a messenger of energy. It's one of our greatest spiritual teachers. So in the present moment, you could feel heart flutters, tension, fatigue. Like I had the knee pain, which really was trying to tell me that I needed to rest. They're not really punishments. They're not like things that are bad or good. They're just telling us what we need to do. So we use this awareness to ground our energy. We notice how our body feels. We breathe into any discomfort that we might feel. We feel our feet on the ground. We go outside. We look up at the sky. We feel the wind on our face. We let the energy move through rather than resisting. You can always sit in meditation. That is a great way to feel all of this. And we can continue to remember, even in the hardest moments, that emotional pain, it invites us to open up, to feel it all, not to close, not to shut down, not to resist the emotion. We allow it all. We allow it all because we can allow the emotion, and then our body becomes a safe place to meet what's arising. So I want you to remember to come to the present moment with awareness, with compassion for yourself. You know, this is really the real work of awakening. It's really the real work of ascending here on earth, staying open to love, even when it hurts. And sometimes we don't understand why something is happening. And eventually, if we take inventory of our lives over time, as we become more aware of everything that our life is showing us, we not only understand the purpose of events, we really appreciate some of the hard things, the dark nights of the soul, because we can see how they open us up to more. So with time, with awareness, we can see how perfectly our life has positioned us in each experience for our growth and for someone else's healing. Because a lot of times what we've been through, we can help others, as you see me doing today, you know, with my daughter, Kira, being on the other side. And she helps me do this. I never thought that I would be still this connected to her. I've been through my worst fear, and on the other side of it, I'm just like in awe of this moment and in awe of how much peace I have. So remember that the path is not off. You're not in the wrong place. We just trust the divine timing, that it's part of walking this path to feel good always. And the more that we practice this presence, the more we live from higher consciousness. And remembering that feeling good isn't bypassing pain. It's about trusting the moment enough to stay with it. And that we are in a spiritual awakening. We are ascending on earth, but these are not destinations. They are right now, right here. It's already happening. It's really being with what's happening in this moment. And it's really beautiful to know that we're right here. It's not something out there. It's already happening. We're bringing heaven on earth right in this moment. So I just want to remind you guys to Take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the earth. You are safe. You are guided. You're exactly where you're meant to be. So be here now. Step fully into it. Right here, right now. You are ascending. You are on this path to feel good always. And I really appreciate all of your time and listening. Next time on the podcast, I'm really going to talk about coming into the present moment and how we can really feel it all. The power of allowing ourselves to feel it all. So until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for following along. If you haven't followed, go ahead and press that follow button. It really helps get this out to more people and share this with somebody. So be here now in this moment, right here, right now. Nowhere past this, just here in this moment. I love you all. Thank you.